WNBA Commissioner Kathy has opened up about this situation a little bit and spoken about it.
WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelberg comes out and denies all of us see it. The players see it, the coaches see it, the damn parking lot attendants that's standing outside of the venues that's not even in the arenas can see.
I just hope that the safety of players starts to become a priority versus the ego of refs.
She said, I hope the safety of players matters more than the egos of refs. So Kathy Engelberg, is Gabby Williams lying too?
2 minutes ago, the truth finally came out. Reporters, analysts, even players are exposing how corrupt WNBA officiating is putting Caitlin Clark at risk while the league stays silent.
The physicality in the game is in 3 areas: in the post, on the glass, and at the point of screening. The rest of it needs to be cleaned up. I want to see the offense make the defense wrong.
If you believe Caitlin deserves fair treatment and protection, comment 100% for Caitlin below. Because this isn't just bad refereeing, it's deliberate negligence, and it's time someone said it out loud.
That means we can showcase our product at the highest level with the best skilled basketball players in the world on the women's side. And if we're allowed to clutch and grab and push and shove, and there's one thing called bump the cutter that used to be back in the day, like a movement is a real thing. Jumping to the ball on defense is also a skill. And Caitlin has had her fair share of knocks. There's no question about it.
This isn't physical basketball. It's illegal basketball. And the whistle, silent.
It's bad. Even when they win, I still talk about how bad the officiating is for the Indiana Fever. Now, yeah, I think they're bad overall for every team and the WNBA in general. But when I'm watching the Indiana Fever, it is awful, man.
In a recent breakdown, respected analyst Debbie Antonelli laid it out clearly. Caitlin Clark is at the top of every scouting report. Teams are instructed to limit her vision, pressure her off ball, and disrupt her rhythm by any means necessary.
Man, you literally had Ezzy holding on to Caitlin, holding on to her, man. No call. No call, man. And I'm like, dog, what does Caitlin have to do to get a foul called out here, man? It's crazy. And also, you can tell the whistle is becoming better when Caitlin is on the bench. You can tell.
But here's the key. Antonelli warned that there's a line, and if referees don't manage that line, players will cross it. And they have. Just look at what's already happened.
Marina Mabrey hip-checking Caitlin Clark, blindsiding her, which I think is what played a part of her having an injury now, should have been a flagrant 2 ejection from the door. You guys did not call it. The only person that's had a flagrant 2 was Sophie Cunningham when she started a damn riot on the floor in retaliation. When the fact of the matter is, had the referees got that game under control in the beginning of the game, none of it would have happened.
Marina Mabrey hip-checked and blindsided Caitlin in open space. No flagrant call. DJ Carrington yanked another player's ponytail and dragged her midair. Still nothing more than a regular foul.
The Indiana Fever were complaining about the foul play that was going on with Caitlin Clark as they beat the Connecticut Sun.
These aren't just missed calls. They're blatant failures that endanger players, especially the league's biggest star.
I just hope that the safety of players starts to become a priority versus the ego of refs.
She said, I hope the safety of players matters more than the egos of refs. So Kathy Engelberg, is Gabby Williams lying too?
Gabby Williams of the Seattle Storm even spoke out, frustrated and injured after getting laughed at by a ref when she warned about dangerous contact. Her words were chilling. I hope the safety of players starts to matter more than the egos of refs. And she's right, because when ego outweighs fairness, someone gets hurt. And that someone keeps being Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark is out. She is out tonight.
Caitlin Clark out yet again with a left groin injury.
Caitlin Clark is out with a groin injury.
People are saying that Caitlin Clark got injured.
Off as Clark's back in.
Right there.
Down.
All right, on that play that just happened. That it may be where the injury transpired.
She's already missed time due to a quad strain and now a groin injury. Injuries that may be tied directly to the brutal physicality she faces every game.
As you can see with this play here, she gets a handoff from Aaliyah Boston and then she fumbles the ball a little bit and she falls to the ground.
Meanwhile, defenders are given free passes to hack and harass her. There's no protection, no consistency, and no accountability. Even fans and creators have noticed a pattern.
We have a boatload of players who have come out exposing this clown show of referees. And let's see what Kathy Engelbert herself had to say.
When Caitlin is on the bench, the whistle magically becomes fair. But the second she steps on the court, it's open season. She's getting tackled with no calls while opponents walk to the free throw line for far less. And let's not forget this.
How much money they make? They only make like $100,000 a year, bro. It's bad. It's real bad compared to like NBA referees. But these WNBA referees is at an all-time high right now, bro. I mean, it's simply annihilating the game of basketball. It's part of the reason why I believe Caitlin Clark is hurt and dealing with these injuries. They keep letting her get hacked. Basically, UFC fought on a basketball court. And with all that being said, let's head on over to X to look and see what has come out.
The WNBA has younger, undertrained referees, many of whom split time with NCAA games and are not salaried. That means they're juggling part-time gigs in 2 different leagues with little consistency or oversight.
One comment said it is clear that they don't want the WNBA to succeed. This is not incompetence from Kathy. She was the CEO of some little company. They want the WNBA to remain a small, safe space for free-form, normal basketball fans. Kathy is international embarrassment. Yes, fans in other countries are calling her out.
Even Monty McCutcheon, head of referee development, admitted publicly that there are growing pains and admitted it's a real issue. This isn't about one bad call. It's a systemic failure, a failure to protect a player who's not just lifting a team, but lifting an entire league. And until someone takes this seriously, Caitlin Clark will keep paying the price.
But also at the same time, she is at the top of the scouting report. And if you want to win the game, it's important that you limit what she can do. You take away her vision, you're physical with her when she's off the ball, you do all those things, and there's a certain line. And if the referees don't take care of managing that line, then players are going to cross the line.
The outcry isn't just coming from fans anymore. It's coming from respected journalists, former players, and even coaches, people with deep roots in the game who are finally saying what many have felt for weeks. WNBA leadership is failing to protect Caitlin Clark, and the silence from the top is no longer acceptable. It started with one of the most respected voices in sports journalism, Christine Brennan. Speaking on national media, Brennan didn't hold back. She flat out said, "The leadership of this league has failed miserably."
Number one, you have the front office. They clearly should have brought in players to surround Clark, who played the read and react, who could get up and down that court with Clark. They seen what happened last season. Let's not forget they did not make the playoffs since 2016. And they chose not to. They chose not to. They chose to bring a bunch of old people in who went totally against what Caitlin Clark likes to do.
Her comments weren't speculation. They were backed by facts, observations, and echoed by others within the game. She called out Commissioner Kathy Engelbert by name and demanded accountability for what's been happening, not just to Caitlin Clark, but to the league's credibility. But it didn't stop there. Former players, coaches, and media insiders are now drawing the same conclusion. The WNBA has a referee crisis, and the commissioner refuses to address it honestly.
Kathy Engelbert said, "There's always room for growth and improvement in officiating. I do find it interesting when you sit in the chair I sit in that no winning team ever complains about officiating. No losing team ever doesn't complain about officiating." Kathy Engelbert, you sound like a moron. You sound ridiculous, Kathy Engelbert. The Indiana Fever were complaining about the foul play that was going on with Caitlin Clark as they beat the Connecticut Sun.
When Kathy Engelbert was finally asked about the officiating controversy, her response was almost insulting. She claimed, "No winning team complains about officiating. No losing team doesn't." That comment alone sparked outrage because it ignores reality. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever have been winning and still raising concerns. Head coach Stephanie White said it best. "The players are getting better. The coaching is getting better. The officiating is not. And she's not alone.
Take care of our locker room.
Woo! You did a shit job at that.
No one likes us, right? So everyone in our locker room, that's the only type of people that we have that we can lean on. And we got to be better in that area. We have got to stay disciplined. We have to stay focused. We need to get consistent, and we got to lean on each other. And I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands, but as one of the leaders on the team, I got to do a better job of grouping people.
Cheryl Reeve of the Minnesota Lynx, a championship-winning coach, has been publicly pushing for better officiating for months. This isn't about sour grapes, it's about safety and fairness. Even when the Fever beat the Connecticut Sun, even after Caitlin Clark helped win against Chicago, the team still criticized the officiating.
It's part of the reason why I believe Caitlin Clark is hurt and dealing with these injuries. They keep letting her get hacked. Basically, UFC fought on a basketball court. And with all that being said, let's head on over to X to look and see what has come out.
Why? Because it's not about the scoreboard. It's about the dangerous trend of letting Caitlin get hammered with no protection, and then ignoring it as if she's just whining. Meanwhile, analysts like Debbie Antonelli, who's been calling games for over 2 decades, are saying what the league won't. She said officials must blow the whistle when players cross the line, and noted that Caitlin has been taking far too many hits without appropriate calls.
Now you have Gabby Williams, who is coming out and saying, hey, the officiating is a problem. You have another player coming out saying the officiating is a problem. Caitlin Clark has been telling you the officiating is a problem in the WNBA. It is a joke. It is a joke. You guys will literally let anyone referee a basketball game. It's a joke. There are about 10 flagrant fouls. Dejanay Carrington on Skylar Diggins should have been a flagrant 2 ejection. Dejanay pulling Sarah Ashley Barker ponytail, pulling her out of the air through the floor should have been a flagrant. There's at least 3 to 4 Dejanay Carrington plays alone that should have been flagrant 2 ejections that were called regular fouls.
Antonelli also emphasized that the league needs to clean up the officiating if it wants to showcase the best basketball. Because without that, the talent gets buried under chaos. And it's not just Debbie. Social media erupted when Gabby Williams of the Seattle Storm revealed she warned refs about dangerous contact and was laughed at. She twisted her ankle soon after. Players are speaking up, coaches are demanding action, and still the league's commissioner repeats the same dismissive lines. At this point, it doesn't sound like leadership. It sounds like damage control. Even more frustrating, this is happening in the exact moment the league is under the brightest spotlight it has ever had.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from 3. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and 1 was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from 3-point range.
Caitlin Clark has brought in record ratings, jersey sales, sold-out arenas, and millions of new viewers. But the league is failing its biggest star in the one way that matters most, keeping her safe and letting her compete fairly. This isn't just a PR crisis, it's a leadership failure. And the longer the WNBA ignores it, the more people, fans, sponsors, and even players will start asking the same question. Does the league even want to succeed?
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know, us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover. She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP.
She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Let's be clear about one thing. Caitlin Clark is not just another rookie. She's a once-in-a-generation star, the kind of athlete leagues dream of building around. She's brought unprecedented attention to the WNBA, record TV ratings, sold-out games, massive merch sales, and an explosion in fan interest, especially among casual viewers who never watched the league before.
There's no one else in the league who's putting up the viewership.
I just see the numbers. So, like, I know what the numbers are when she's playing, and I know what they are when she's not.
The fallout has begun. That's the draw. That's the aura. That's the brand. She is the WNBA.
But here's the uncomfortable truth. The WNBA is putting all of that at risk. Game after game, Caitlin has been knocked around with almost no protection. And while the refs ignore it, the league's leadership stays silent. This isn't just bad optics, it's bad business. Because when your biggest star is injured, sidelined, or visibly frustrated, the entire product suffers. Caitlin Clark has already missed games with a quad strain and a groin injury, both potentially aggravated by the unchecked physicality she faces.
Caitlin Clark is out with groin injury. Buying it, or is it a mental break? Fans are done with Stephanie White. The honeymoon period is over. Stephanie White is not the coach the Fever need.
And when she's off the court, TV viewership drops. Jerseys stop selling. Social media engagement dips. Why? Because fans aren't tuning in for balance. They're tuning in for Caitlin Clark. Christine Brennan, a respected journalist and one of Caitlin's loudest advocates in the media, made it painfully clear. This is the moment the league has been waiting for. And instead of protecting it, the WNBA is fumbling it.
The Marina Mabry shit was dirty. The eye gouge is dirty.
She missed that first preseason game because of the quad.
She's a great passer. She reminds me of Steph Curry.
She has moved merchandise up 500%, ratings 50%.
Caitlin Clark, your greatest asset, is going to get hurt. The face of your league is going to get hurt if you continue to allow all this physical play to happen.
There's only one so far that truly has like a Tiger Woods, Mike Tyson, LeBron James.
Needle mover.
LeBron James in his prime impact on viewership, and that's Caitlin Clark.
Let's talk facts. According to Wall Street Journal reporting, Caitlin Clark is bringing in tens of millions in sponsorship value. Nike, Gatorade, Wilson, some of the biggest brands in the world are betting on her. If they see her being mistreated, injured, or targeted, what message does that send? What does it say when a league can't protect its most marketable player? And fans aren't blind.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
That's why discussions have already started about something once unthinkable. What if Caitlin Clark left the WNBA and started her own league? It sounds extreme, but people are asking it for a reason. Christine Brennan was even asked that question on air. Could it happen? Her response, yes, it's possible. With brands like Nike and Wilson behind her, and with Caitlin alone responsible for the biggest ratings boost in WNBA history, she could walk away and bring the entire spotlight with her.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP.
She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
Yeah, she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
And if she did, the WNBA wouldn't just lose a player, it would lose its relevance. In fact, Ice Cube has already reportedly offered Caitlin millions to play in his Big Three league. That's how valuable she is right now. And yet, instead of centering her in the league's growth strategy, the WNBA seems content letting her get roughed up and brushed aside.
Stephanie White said Caitlin Clark reported pain to the training staff last night, then got an MRI on her groin.
Caitlin Clark did get an MRI last night because she was feeling pain in her groin.
Out about this groin injury and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night and then we'll treat it day to day.
And it's not just the league office failing her. It's the referees. It's the leadership. It's the entire system around her that seems built to suppress, not support, the biggest star women's basketball has seen in decades. Debbie Antonelli said it best. You don't have stars. You have a star, singular, and you better protect her.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP.
She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Because if Caitlin Clark walks away, or worse, is forced out due to injury, the WNBA doesn't have a backup plan. Without Caitlin, all those new fans, they leave. The attention, it fades. And the progress the league has made in the past few months, it collapses under the weight of its own negligence. So the real question isn't just whether the refs will finally blow the whistle, it's whether the league has the guts to protect the one player who saved it from being ignored.
Stephanie White, speaking about Caitlin Clark actually learning this new system.
There's so many things that go into, and I'm talking about being happy personally. Like I want her to be happy personally. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. It's a different group. While system might still be very similar, it's a different group, and things are happening quickly, and being able to mesh. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I think we've seen that there's so many things that go into.
Caitlin Clark deserves better, and so do the fans who've shown up for her in record numbers. The WNBA has a choice to make. Keep ignoring the problem, or fix it before it destroys everything Caitlin has built for them. If you believe the league should protect its stars, if you believe Caitlin Clark deserves respect, consistency, and safety, comment 100% for Caitlin below and let your voice be heard. Because we're not just watching basketball anymore. We're watching a turning point, and how the league responds now will define its future.